Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. In the first story, our OP, a self-employed woman, finds her mornings disrupted by her roommate's excessively loud and persistent alarm clock. Let's find out how she got her revenge. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Wake me up with your alarm? Guess my day starts now, too. I, 28-year-old female, live with my boyfriend, 29-year-old male, and one roommate, 28-year-old male, in a house that I own. They both work at the same company, so their workday starts at 6 a.m. I work from home, so I sleep, get up pretty much whenever I want. It's worth noting that I'm a very light sleeper and my boyfriend is a fairly heavy sleeper that I usually have to wake despite his alarm. My boyfriend's alarm goes off at 5:30. He usually gets dressed and heads to work by 5:40, which is fine. In those 10 minutes, I'll pack his lunch, make him coffee, and get him set up for the day. My roommate, however, has a very loud, blaring alarm that goes off every 5 minutes between 5 and 5:30, when he finally rolls out of bed and gets ready. Even on weekends, he'll sometimes let his alarm go off until 6 until it finally shuts off on its own. It's very annoying. I have no idea why he sets his alarm to be so damn loud that the whole house hears it, especially since he's also a light sleeper, supposedly, and has expressed before that me watching TV in my room at night keeps him up, even if I close the door. If the alarm was quieter, I wouldn't care, but at that point he wakes my dogs, and he's even woken my boyfriend's daughter, 3-year-old female, who stays with us on occasion. Needless to say, once that first alarm goes off at 5, I'm awake, and so is everyone else. I don't know if you've ever dealt with a toddler being unwillingly woken up at 5 a.m., but it's not pretty, especially since she usually wakes up between 9:30 and 10. I've asked him a number of times if he could just turn down the alarm a little so he doesn't wake the whole house. He refuses to do so. Cue petty revenge. My wake-up routine usually involves taking a shower, then doing the dishes and cleaning, caring for the dogs, etc. If we have the baby, I'll make breakfast and put on a show for her to watch while she wakes up. 2 of my 3 dogs are fairly large, so they make noise when I let them out of their crates and feed them. So the past few days, I've been dragging my butt out of bed at 5 and starting my routine, none of which I do quietly. I'm awake anyway, and it's my house, so I can do what I want. The toddler will usually fall asleep again on the couch, even if I turn on the TV, so I put on a show for her at normal volume at 5. My dogs are energetic, so I let them out of their crates to run around at 5. Dishes, 5 a.m., baby. TikTok's in the living room, 5 again. Wake me up at 5, that's when my day will start. I haven't gotten much out of my roommate except for dirty looks and the occasional, "Why are you awake?" to which I simply respond with, "Because you woke me." He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, so he started to complain that I'm being petty for no reason. I again suggested for him to turn down the alarm or at least lessen the frequency, but he's refused to do so. Guess we'll all just keep waking up at 5. Except for my boyfriend, of course. He can sleep through virtually anything. Bless his heart. I should go wake him. I'd suddenly take an interest in making breakfast smoothies. Recipes that involve having to crush ice cubes with a blender. And our second story. Need a doctor's note when I return to work? Okay. A little background. At the time, I worked at a larger organization that had a staff of 1,000 to 1,500 people in a travel-related industry. As we all know about the travel industry, certain times are busier than most, and during those times, non-pre-approved vacation and days off, etc. are blocked out. If you call off sick, you need a doctor's note when you return to work. Generally, the management doesn't care because it's your sick time that you've earned, but we all have that one guy. By-the-book Bob, we'll call him. By-the-book Bob got promoted because he was a company man, a yes man, a dude who drank so much Kool-Aid that it oozed from his pores. It was nearing Christmas time, busy holiday travel time, so it's all hands on deck, and several days before and after are blocked out for those vacation days, etc. This blocking out extended to past the new year. I came into work on Monday and went home feeling unwell. Nothing too terrible, just feeling malaise. Something a day's rest and a good night's sleep should fix. So Monday night, I called in to let them know I was going to take a sick day to rest and recover and be at 100% for the impending holiday. So I call in, and who answers the phone but by the book Bob? I tell him that I'm going to take a sick day since I'm not feeling too well. Without skipping a beat, her says, "Remember, the holiday period starts tomorrow. If you call off sick, you'll need a doctor's note." As I mentally imagine him sitting on the other side of the phone all excited and happy that he reminded me of the doctor's note instead of wishing me well, I respond, "Okay, cool. You want a doctor's note when I get back, right? Otherwise, I'll get a write-up?" Bob, "Yep, gonna need a doctor's note." Me, "Sure, no problem." What By the Bob book didn't realize is my personal physician is an old Asian man who gives 0 Fs. He's gonna take holidays off. He's going to take extended time off because, well, it's his office and he can. Guess which office was closed until a few days after the New Year's? Yup. Am I going to go off to the local non-emergency room on a sick day to camp out for a doctor's note? Yeah, no. Am I going to pay out the pocket to go to another doctor to get a note so By the Book Bob can be happy? Most definitely no. I guess my only choice is to hang out at home resting until the new year and then pop in and get my note. So I do. When I'm finally done with my sick time and get my doctor's note, it's now nearly 2 weeks later. I head back into work and drop off my note to By the Book Bob when I get in. "Hey Bob, here's the note you wanted." Bob, "You were gone a long time, bro." Me, "Yeah, you wanted that doctor's note and I didn't want to get in trouble since you said it was required. My doctor's office was closed until just yesterday." Bob, "You couldn't get the note anywhere else?" Me, "You gonna pay for my doctor's office visits?" I smiled and walked out. And our next story. I can't find the toothpaste. After frustratingly trying to get the bolt that plugs the oil drain on my car as well as the oil filter, I decided I should go out to get the supplies I needed to help make my job easier changing the oil. After picking up a quick dinner and the tools I needed to loosen everything, I decided I might as well go shopping for what I needed since there was a store right across the street. At first, I grabbed my essentials. Amazingly, everything was in stock at this store, and I decided to look through the liquor section to see if they carried my favorite craft beer and see what else they had. While I was looking, a man in his 80s, henceforth known as Man, walked into the area. Man, "I can't find the toothpaste." Me, "Well, this is the liquor section." Man, "I know this is. I think it's down aisle 16, but I'm not sure." At this point, I realize he thinks I work at this store. I'm wearing a black tee, black jeans, and a stainless steel watch and necklace, and the store uniform is khakis and a black polo with the store logo on it. I was about to tell the man that I couldn't help him because I was not an employee, but I decided that I wasn't in a rush, and if he didn't realize I wasn't an employee, he might really need the help. Me, "How about I help you find what you need?" Man, "Yes, thank you." I find the aisle where I believe it is, and I grab him a couple of things of toothpaste, show him what's available, and tell him the prices. After he chooses what he wants, we make our way to the cat food aisle. We went through all the cans of cat food that were available. More options than I thought existed. He'd pick up a can and ask me to read it. I'd tell him what it said, and I would hold which cans he decided he wanted. After about 10 minutes of this, he has everything he needs, and he mentions he had some coffee stored at a cashier and asked me to take him to the lady that was keeping it for him. Me, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I don't actually work here. I just wanted to help you to make sure you could get what you needed and get out quickly so you weren't around so many people for a long time." After he realizes what happened for the last 10 minutes, we try to find the person who was holding on to his coffee, but he decided to just visit a random cashier. After this, I kept looking through the amazing liquor sections that they had in the store, checked out, and went home to finish working on my car. We did stay 6 feet apart at most times, unless I was reading a label for him, which would be brief, and I don't always help out whoever thinks I work wherever I shop. It happens often, and I do help out most of the time, but the place was busy and there were not a lot of workers, so everyone was busy. If someone needs help, you don't have to be their personal shopper, but it's always nice to help someone find what they're looking for. And this is the way you get someone's help in a store and make someone's day while you're at it. You got what he needed, and you got to feel good about helping a person in need. Win-win. And our last story. Farmer versus HOA. This is not my story. I got it from a regular customer. Happened probably 15 or so years ago now. He used to live in an old stone farmhouse, and when he bought the place, most of the farmland had been sold to a developer, leaving him with a 20-acre plot with the house in one corner. The developer put in a housing development next door, and a few years later, he gets a letter in the mail saying that his house is not following the HOA guidelines and was behind on his dues, and he owes them a buttload of money. Direct quote from the storyteller, and that they'll foreclose on his house if he didn't pay. He then called them and pointed out that he's not a member of the HOA and they're welcome to try, so they filed a lien on his house and it was denied. They then tried to get him to sign up with the HOA, and when he said no, they filed a lawsuit and tried to force him into the HOA, which failed. The whole thing was so ridiculous that it ended up on the local news. He then started getting reported for supposed code violations, and after a couple dozen in a few months' time, he discovered that the person reporting him was a neighbor. The neighbor's backyard butted up against his yard, and apparently both hated how his house looked and was on the HOA board. It took 2 more years and another lawsuit and many police visits for this whole mess to run its course. Funniest part is that 4 years before I was told that story, an electrical fire gutted the old farmhouse, and the guy rebuilt on the other side of his property just to get away from the butthurt HOA guy. And since he didn't have to remove the old building, he left it, all gutted, fire blackened, and half collapsed, right where the butthurt guy could see it from his bedroom window. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.